Hello, this video is for classroom instructors and administrators of the classroom management system and will help with managing students, classes, and curriculum. This help video assumes that you have already been through the Quick Start Guide, which gets you up and running, adding students to the system, adding classes to the system, then connecting students to classes and classes to curriculum. But now, having set all this up, you're in the semester, you have a new student come to the class, and you need to add this student to the classroom management system, also to a class and to the curriculum. When you initially set this up, you very likely were adding several students to the system. Then you connected those students to a class, and then you connected that class to the curriculum. And in doing this, all of the students were added to the curriculum at one time. But now you're having to add an individual student, and it's necessary to take these steps individually for that student. So we're going to add the student by selecting student from the menu bar and then add a student. Then we enter that student information, and you notice the red asterisk showing the required fields that we must enter. So we have a new student, telephone number, their address, email address, the name of their school is automatically entered based on the person who is doing this information. If that needs to be changed, it can be done so at this screen. We need to give them student access, which is important, otherwise they can get access to parts of the system that they need not have access. Then their city name, username. By default, we use the email address, and this will automatically be entered in this field once we click the update button. If, however, we want to use a different username, we can enter it at this point, and it will not be overridden with the email address later on. Okay, the state, a password. This, if it's not required, we'll skip for now. By default, active status is selected. If we want, we can select inactive, and the student will not have access to the system until we change this. Mobile phone is not required, so we'll skip for now. The instructor's username is required and very important. It automatically enters the username of the person who is adding this information. If, however, this person is not the instructor for the class this student will be in, then that instructor's username needs to be entered. This is important to keep students and classes and instructors and curriculum all tightly connected. Then the station in the lab that this student will be working from needs to be selected. And if this is not known, it can be added later. I'll select director station for now, then click update, and the student has been successfully added. If we want to double check, we can go to students on the menu bar, select maintain students, and we see new student listed along with the fact that they are not yet connected to a class nor to a curriculum. And that will be the next two steps that we need to take. To connect them to a class, we'll select classes on the menu bar, then add students to classes. And it's a simple process of selecting the student's name from this side of this column on the left, and then the class from the column on the right. Click the button to add student, and we receive confirmation that they've been added. Then we need to add them to the curriculum. We go to the curriculum on menu bar and add students to curriculum. This is a very similar process. We select the student's name in the left column, the curriculum in the right column, then click the Add button, and we get confirmation. Now we go back to the student's name under Maintain Students, and we have 5th hour media class, iMovie curriculum. And so this student now is ready to go. Another scenario we may encounter during the semester is a student dropping from the class. And we have a couple of options when this happens. The first option, first of all, we just need simply to go to Students in the menu bar, then select Maintain Students. We have the students listed. We're going to remove the student we just entered. And here we have a couple of options. The first option is to just change them simply to inactive status. If we do this, all of their information remains in the system and they just no longer have access to the system. We would do this if the student is still in the school system but has dropped this class and may possibly enroll in another multimedia class later. However, if the student has left the school system and we would not expect them to enroll in a multimedia class again, we would click Remove Student. Confirm we want to do this. And then again we have a couple of options. We could take the first option, which would leave the name in the system. It would simply remove their journal entries, quiz scores, grades, etc. The other option, which we most likely would do if the student has left the school system, is to simply remove all records of this student. And then we would click Remove Student. And if we go to Maintain Students, we'll see that this student is no longer listed. So we've covered two scenarios where we've had a new student enroll in the class during the semester and a student drop out during the semester. Now a new scenario is when we come to the end of the semester and we need to clear students out of a class so that new students can enroll in that class. And so to do this, we will select Classes from the menu bar and Maintain Classes. Now we could simply remove the class from the system by selecting the box and click Delete, but more than likely this class will be used again in the future. So instead of doing that, we'll click on the class name and we'll have a list of students. In this case there's just one in our example system, but we would select each student that's listed, then click Delete, and now the class no longer has any students assigned to it, and we have cleared out, but we've cleared out the list of students from the class, but we have not cleared the students from the system. More than likely we want to leave them in the system. If you want to just remove them from the system, then you can follow the steps for each student that we just did a while ago by Maintain Students and then select each student and either removing them or making them inactive. Alright, let's go back to Maintain Classes, selecting the class, and if we're just simply removing students from the class, we select them, click Delete, and they're removed from the class. Our next scenario is one in which we are now starting a new semester and we need to assign students to their classes. And in this case we will have two steps involved. The first step is to assign the students to the class, and so if the students are already in the system, then it's just a matter of going to classes on the menu bar and then selecting add students to classes, which is what I just did. Then we can select each student and assign them to whatever class that they're assigned to. If, however, we have students to add to the system, then we need to go to Students, Add Student, and add each new student to the system. Once we've done that, then we can come here and we can connect all the students at one time by selecting their names and then the class they're assigned to. Having done this, now we need to connect the class to the curriculum. Now maybe we did this back last semester, but we've removed all the students from the class, we've added new students to the class, and now we need to connect the class again to the curriculum, because basically what it's doing is connecting students to the curriculum, not the class name. So having connected students to the class, we're now going to back to classes on the menu bar and add a class to curriculum. And so we select our fifth hour media class, if that's the one we're dealing with, and the curriculum, and then add a class to the curriculum. And we've now covered our bases and we're ready for another semester. And that concludes this help video.